You are tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready, she's about to bring that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hotties, you are tuned into Just One Hot Mom. I am your host, Nanika Ansari, and tonight we are talking doing the most. Moms are out here doing their things, and people say that we should be ashamed of it, but I, for one, am not ashamed. I'm going to keep doing my thing as long as I have breath. But I have on with me tonight Artina to talk about doing the most. Hey,
Hi,
Artina, how are
y'all.
you? Hey.
Hey.
So, hey, can you go ahead and... Oh,
Sorry.
my bad.
No,
Technology,
that's
honey.
my
Are
bad.
you good? Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people what you do.
My name is Artina. I also go by Tina. I do a lot of little things. Well, not a lot of little things. I do a lot of big things. I'm a teacher. I teach 7th grade math. Let me go back. I'm a mom. I have a 4-year-old son. I teach 7th grade math. This is my 7th year teaching. I'm a doula. I am on a podcast called NWP Podcast. I am also, I'm missing something. I'm a Detroiter. I'm from Detroit. I'm screen Detroit till the day I die. East Side. And I'm a crafter. I was just making my shirt for the Jeezy. And you can't even see it. There we go.
You know what?
I'm about to iron it on. Get my iron on.
About. That is what I'm talking about. And so I invited Tina to have this conversation tonight because one, y'all know how I pick up my peoples. I pick up all my peoples from Instagram. And I'm like, watching her. So I'm like, she is out here doing the most. And I was like, we see a lot of women out here doing a lot. Like you said, you're a podcaster, you're a crafter, you're a teacher. And people just think that we should, being a mother is enough. And it's like, okay, if that's just your one hope and dream, yeah, do that and be the best of it. But I was like, I didn't stop dreaming when I became somebody's mom.
I started dreaming more when I became somebody's mom.
And so we wanted to have this conversation because I get a lot from people like, oh, you're just doing too much or you're doing the most. And it was like, oh,
they ain't doing enough.
It's so much more to come. Just keep watching.
Yes.
So I wanted to know from you, what keeps you motivated? Like what keeps you wanting to do more, like a doula, a teacher, a podcaster? Like those are all very different things. What keeps you motivated and going after your dreams?
All the different things that I do pull and they tend to different parts of my life. I have always had a love for teaching, for kids, for my city. I have always wanted to give back to my community. I live and I teach in the city. I teach in the city that I live in. I got some of my students live in my neighborhood. When I taught in DC, I lived in the same neighborhood that I taught in. And that means a lot to me just so I want to be relatable. I remember going to a school where my teachers didn't look like me. They didn't know where I was from. If I mentioned something that I liked, they didn't know what I was talking about. And I never wanted that for my kid or for other kids. So I'm glad I can be that for them. As far as being a doula, that really came. I had like no idea what a doula was before I had a baby. Like no idea. And I had a doula at my birth and she was just so amazing. Like, I don't even know how I would have made it without her. She just was just everything. And she just made me want to be everything for somebody else. Really. And my son, he definitely motivates me for everything. I had been working at schools prior to having him and after having him that I'm just like, some things about these schools I don't like. And honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, a lot of those schools I wouldn't have sent my child to. And I got into a position where I was at a school and it was just so toxic and just terrible. And I just felt so bad leaving there. And I had to tell myself, like, girl, do not work at no more schools that you want to send your own child to. Like, you don't even believe in this mission at this school. You can't, like, these people do not align with you. And so a lot of my life is about just getting stuff that aligns with me, my values, my goals, and using that to propel myself, propel others into a better place, a better lifestyle. Just all around being the change I want to see.
And see, I like that. I like that because I think so often people get moms mixed up with only being one way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be at home with the kids, or if you go to work, you just work a 9 to 5, and then you go home with the kids and you just, but I like the fact that you're like in your community, not just about your kid. Like, if we're going to be effective change in our community,
Mm-hmm.
we have to, it starts at home, but we have to be outreach into other areas too. So I really like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you're like, yeah, I would never work in a school. And I totally agree with that. Like the schools that my kids go to align with the mission that I would like to have for their lives. And I think that we get wrapped up too in the thinking that we get stuck with going to one school. Like we don't have any other choices.
Oh,
But
it's
I think
always a choice.
it's all it's
It's always a
always a
choice.
choice.
And
And
if
that's
you
what
don't
people need
find
to
that choice, you
realize.
better make your choice.
And I
Make
know a
it.
lot of people, a lot of the moms I've been talking to lately with the remote learning are like, you know what, I'm looking into homeschooling because this is what I want to do. Now, I'm not going to lie. I tell people all the time, like, I'm not a homeschool mom. Like, I will gladly pick a school that will align with the values that we have because this remote learning is for the birds. But I do like the fact that moms have the choices to do that and dads too. But when we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about moms in society, you know, I hear a lot of people like, oh, it's because of the grind culture, the hustle culture, that moms think that they have to be doing more than that. And I'm like, no, honestly, it's because I don't want to stop. I don't want to just be one thing.
I'm not just a mom. I didn't start my life as a mom. I was born Artina Tyus. Like, that's just who I was born as. I wasn't born as a SARS mom. I
Oh,
have an identity. I'm a person before anything else. I'm my own self. And if I can't be myself, I can't possibly be the best mom for him. I can't. When we was in quarantine before that first couple months of quarantine, I literally was going through it. I'm not a homebody. I don't like being in a house like that. I love my house, but I wanna go get I want some food at a restaurant. I want it hot when I'm eating it. I don't want no cold carry out. I want to hear music. I want my son to be, I want us to go explore stuff, go to museums and whatnot. He was in, I wanted to, we had he was about to get back in swim lessons, we had a life. When that
mhm.
stopped, it was just me and him all the time. And not that I love my son to death. I don't love anyone more than I love him. But it was a lot of him all the time. I needed a break.
Girl, let
I
me
was going
say,
crazy.
I don't even do that but anymore. I just simply, I love my kids. I want to go outside. That's just it.
Period.
I love my kids,
And
but I
that's
want
what you
to.
got to know.
I love my kids. I want to do ratchet stuff with my girls. Like it's just plain and simple. And I think that in people's minds, they get stuck with a mom just being a one way. Like you have to drive a minivan or you have to be a certain type of way. And we don't live in a society right now where any mom can afford to be just one thing. And
And I'm
so
never coming. I'm never coming minivan. Ever.
never. Now, let me know. I will say this. I drove one about a month ago. And
They
for
are
the
nice.
mission, they are nice, but I was like, I can't see myself showing up with my girls talking about some get in, y'all, even if it is enough room.
Mm-mm.
But we just have to be tight. But I wanted to know what you thought about the hustle mentality, how people think like that we are doing too much, that we are doing the most, and our kids are suffering. What do you think about that?
You know what? My son can always, like, he's always able to fill out my vibe. He can always tell when I'm not feeling 100. He can tell as a 4-year-old. He can tell when I'm not feeling 100, when I'm not myself, when I'm sad. And like I said, when all I had to be was just his mom, it was hard for us. We was really
Mhm.
like, our relationship struggled a bit. I got into therapy. I had to because it was just a lot. It was like all mom all the time. I felt like I was losing myself. And I just think that just because you are a mom does not mean that you don't have a sense of self. You can you are your best self and your best mom. You are you are your best as a mom when you're yourself and when you're living in your truth, whatever that may be. So if that's not for you to have a hustle, it could be a hobby. It could be like something you like to do. You like to cook. You might really be into cleaning and organizing stuff. That's not me. I'm not really, I'm really more so into, I do some crafts. I am a little soccer mom. I love taking my son to karate and to swim and whatever he has. And people always be like, y'all always on the go. That's our lifestyle. That's how we thrive. We thrive on the go. That's just what we do. Sitting still and being, and not that people who only I won't say only moms, but not people who don't have like those hustles going on, they are stay-at-home moms. Not to say that your life is still, but I know for me, I get and I thrive off of that on the go, that having
the
my own, the interaction.
yes.
I have to engage with other humans. I grow as a person just being around other humans. And I just feel like, instead of us I'm never gonna try to defend myself and what I do and the decisions I make for me and my family. I do what I do and you do what you do, and I respect you and you can respect me, but don't speak down on what I'm doing.
Amen.
I'm out here handling business. You should try it too.
I'm
You probably
doing
handling
what I
business
gotta do.
right. And I'm doing more than what I gotta do. I'm doing what I want to do.
Ooh.
I'm doing what I want to do.
And that's the best part. I think, that's a new thing. I'm doing what I want to do. And I think people miss it on that. They think that you just out here like, oh, is it about the money for you? And I'm like, no. I was like, if that was the case, I could go get 5 more jobs, do this, never sleep. Like, that wouldn't bother me. It's more than the money. And I think a lot of women are discovering that, especially moms are discovering, like, I need to do something else, because guess what? One day these kids are going to be grown up and gone. And what you gonna do? What you gonna
do?
You just so many crafts that you could be able to do alone.
I just couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine. Life don't stop just because you added somebody to your household. It just doesn't work like that. And you know what I love to say? I do what I want. You do what you can. Okay. If it's a problem, I'm still gonna do what I want. You do what you can. Everybody ain't able and everybody not qualified. But what you are gonna know is that I am both able and qualified to do everything that I'm doing.
See, y'all, this is why I had to bring her on for this conversation. So I said, I was catching her like, okay, she is. And you know what? People will make you feel bad. Like, okay, shouldn't you be at home with your kid? And I'm like, shouldn't you be minding your business? Like, what I do for me have anything to do with you? And so I want moms to get out of the habit of having to defend what they do, because I do need my alone time. I do need time to be with my friends. I do need time to figure stuff out for myself. Like, you don't stop growing just because you become somebody's mother. You don't give up your dreams. You don't give up anything. And I think we have a lot of women who are now regretting that they didn't push forward with some of the hopes and dreams that they had, or they're realizing like, dang, I could have done all of this, but because I listened to other people tell me what to do, now I'm regretting some of these things. I want to
absolutely,
because we talk about this a lot in my group, mom shaming. Have you ever been mom shamed, and how did you handle it? Because that's what the territory we're going.
I for sure have been mom shamed. Let me keep it real. I breastfed my son until he was 3 years old, and a lot of people did not bang. My own family was like, when you go get him off the boob, da 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 da. And I had to keep telling people, what my son eat ain't making you shit. It's not. He's good. He's healthy. He's growing. He's thriving. When I used to baby wear, and I would have my 2-year-old son on my back, let him walk around. I got this. This is my kid, And honestly, before I was a mama, I definitely used to mom shame people. I used to be like,
we all do.
Stop calling that baby 30 months old. Okay. When my son turned 30 months old, people like, how old is he? I said 30 months. Because I get it now. I get it. I understand, like, 2 at 24 months and 2 at 30 months is 2 different ages.
You don't know. It's a different person too. It's a different person.
Yeah, it's a totally different person, because I didn't know him.
But I think sometimes when people mom shame you, they think that they're helping you. And in actuality, it's like, mind your business.
Oh yeah, no, I never mom shamed to a mama though. I'm kind of undercover.
Yeah.
Because it's already you gotta like.
But I oftentimes catch myself, even like now to this day, it's not something that I set out to do to make another mother feel bad. But you know how sometimes you'll see somebody like, now she know good and well she got no business doing.
Where's that baby at?
I be thinking like, I don't want nobody to say nothing to me, so I need to mind my business. I always tell people like, if the person is doing something wrong to the kid, like beating them, I said, then you might want to be like, okay, you step in and you say something. But I said, it's a way that you handle stuff that you don't make a person feel ashamed of themselves.
I kind of like do a general thing. So like, with it being the wintertime, a lot of people be putting their kids in these coats in their car seats And I'm a
Mm-hmm.
person like, that's a no. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my son knows it. Whoever car he getting in, take my coat off. I'm in my seat. It's not safe. And so, like, if I see parents doing it on like social media or whatever, I might make it just a general post like, hey, be careful. Here's why. It's not safe.
And see, that's a
Or,
teachable moment. That's a teachable.
yeah.
See, I think instead of shaming a person, we need more teachable moments. Even if the person isn't receptive, at least you took the opportunity to have a teachable moment versus being like, girl, did you see what so-and-so did? Because we all gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. I try not to be like that. I really do. Because being a mama is hard. It's
It
hard.
is. It is. And so I was like, what's the point of us shaming each other? Because I know a while back, it was me and another blogger, and she was a stay-at-home mom, and I was a working mom. And I was like, why are we pitting each other against each other? Like, stay-at-home moms care about their kids more than working moms do because I stay at home with my kids. I was like, it's all, being a mom in general is hard. Why make it even harder, making somebody feel bad for the choices that they're making in motherhood? So,
I'm being judged for every other aspect of my life. I don't need to be judged as a mama too. I don't.
Mm-hmm. And you can keep your judgments. That's really how I feel about my whole entire life.
You sure can, because you know what you're not gonna do. You're not gonna put this child on your insurance. You're not gonna send this child to college or wherever he want to do. You're not providing his shoes, his feet growing every 2 months, 3 months. You're not doing none of that. So until you adding up some money, then we don't got nothing to talk about.
We don't have to agree on parenting styles. We don't have
that
to
part
agree on it. And so it's like, why are you imposing your parenting style on me, but you don't want me to impose my parenting style on you? So when I tell people like, oh, you call yourself the parental guidance counselor, I was like, yeah, because I can guide you into making your own parenting decisions versus you thinking like, I'm all for reading. I read, I love to gain knowledge. But sometimes people take some of these self-help parenting books to heart when you are really supposed to take the snippets out that fit your life. So now you beating me in the head with what to expect when you're expecting, when I ain't expecting none of that. None of that happened for me.
Prime example. And you can just look at your pregnancy in general. You have multiple children. I'm sure not one of your pregnancies was the same as the other.
None of them.
And so if my pregnancy process ain't even the same, why would I raise my child the same way as somebody who wrote this book? They have different demographics, and different things affect people differently. And so like when I think about, like, for example, I have my sister, she's pregnant now, and she's, about to have a baby any day. She's due next week. And I said to her, like, have you had a bloody show? And she was like, what is that? And I said, well, sometimes, because it only happens sometimes people have it weeks before they give birth. I said, or you could be like me and it happened right before you have the baby.
Or like me and not at all. And
hold on 1 second. Somebody at my door.
Y'all, she's a busy mom and she got to go get the door. She your best. You know what it is. It's that somebody is getting ready to show up for the Jeezy Gucci Versa.
Sorry, y'all. Y'all know that Jeezy Gucci verse is coming.
I said, y'all know it's about to go down. We trying to give y'all some tidbits before it go all the way down.
You go get this multifaceted motherhood over here.
Who you telling? And that's why I tell people, like, motherhood is not supposed to go just one way. And I think now, like, for me personally, I always tell people, like, for my mom, it was always one way with her. And, it was just, and then like she raised us based on how she was raised, and then her mother raised. And I was like, nah, I just don't see that. I was like, but I have 3 kids and every child is very different. So I can't raise them the same way. I have to raise them according to who they are as a person. Now,
I am a person. I have 2 siblings. Well, on my mom's side, I have 2 siblings, and we all grew up together, and we're a year apart. And my favorite thing to say when I was younger was, that's not fair. I had to wait until I was this. I'm the oldest. I had to wait until I was this age to get that. Or I had to wait until I had a 4.0 to get that. You just giving them everything that I worked so hard for and blah, blah, blah. Or you treat them like this and you don't treat me like that. And my mom always said, y'all different people. And that's all I got to say. Y'all different people. Y'all have different needs. And at the time, as a child, I didn't understand that. But as a person now, and as a teacher, I can straight up look at people and say, fair is not everybody getting the same thing.
No.
Fair is everybody getting what they need. And what you need as a mama, what I need as a mama may be 2 different things. What my child needs as a kid and what your child needs as a kid may be two different things, and that's okay.
And see, and I think if more people would get in that frame of mind versus thinking like you got to keep up with the Joneses moms, or you got to your kid has to be a certain way, because I think oftentimes too, we set our kids up for failure when we try to emulate other people instead of just being the parent that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we got our kids walking around jealous of other people, or, you know what I'm saying, not being their unique selves.
Mm-hmm. I teach 7th graders. Middle school is a tough time for them. And somebody said, oh, I like when you, I think I wear my hair curly usually. Mm-hmm. And I just got it soaked out. So I'm feeling myself. And they must have saw that I was feeling myself a little bit. She was like, oh, I just like how you act when your hair's straight. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I need to start showing y'all that I love my curly hair self too. Like, I love all of myself. And you know, my kids, they just, honestly, a lot of times they push me to be a different person too, like a better person, and to do more. Like, I can only imagine some stuff I look at when things that happen with my son, and then I experience it in the classroom, or my kids tell me something very similar, and I'll be like, dang, I didn't think of it that way. Mm-hmm. That different insight. You know, it's good to have other moms to bounce stuff off of, in a way to as a means of reflection, not as a means of judgment.
And your tribe makes a difference. Like, really, it does take a village. And people think like, oh, a village. Like I was telling somebody asked me to be there. My goddaughter's mother's gonna watch this, and so when she asked me to be her godmother, I said, well, you know, I'm not gonna be, you know, the type of godmother you got. She said, I know. She said, I asked you the more mature person. And then I asked one of my young friends. She said, because I want her to be a well-rounded little girl. And I thought that was so smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was really good the way she thought that out, because I was like, I won't be the one that picks out all these little outfits for your baby, but she will be able to read and go to the art museums, and she'll love to shop and all this other different stuff. So I think when we think of building our village, we need to think of the well-rounded person we want our kid to be, versus, you know, like, okay, this person will help me pay for stuff. Like, yeah, anybody could do that. I could get anybody to help me pay for stuff, but to teach them how to be a person or to learn from them. Who do you want your kid to learn from? Because I don't want my kid to learn from
credible people who are credible.
Family. It's some people in my family I want my kid learning from. So let's go back to this.
So some stuff from them people though. I'm telling you, I try to have, you know, I want my son to grow up and to be comfortable with being him unapologetically, for him to, you know, feel comfortable in his own skin, for him to be able to accept and love people for who they are. And for, you know, for him just to be like very strong, have a very strong sense of self.
Yes.
Because some people don't get that till I just got it. I just got it.
No, and I think like my father poured that into us for a long time. And I think like it kind of backfired on us too, because he was like, you have two dominant personalities. My sister and I are like, rah, like Clash of the Titans. But I think he's thankful for it, because it's like he never has to worry about whether or not we're going to get taken advantage of. Like, we have our own minds and stuff. And so I was like, that's the one, was many things, but that's one of the greatest things I think parents can do, is just helping your child figure out the individual that they are. And nurturing that individual. Because like I said, I have 3 kids, all very different. The girls, whoo, they do the most.
You sound like my mama.
My son,
you got 2 girls and 1 boy?
Yes.
That's how my mama had.
My son is the middle one. He's the middle.
My brother is the middle
yes.
one.
He laid back. My son is so chill. He just be like, Ma, they doing the most. I'm like, I know. But my kids are 23, 16, and 8. So I have a variety.
Oh, yeah. You got
over here. But I wanted to know from you, out of my variety there, I'm shocked ain't nobody interrupted anything yet. Do you ever feel like you are sacrificing too much time with your kid in order for you to be living your dreams?
I don't feel that way now. When my son was younger, and I first started teaching, I definitely used to feel that way. When I got back into teaching after I had him, like right off maternity leave, he was 4 months old. And I was like, I'm over here with other people's kids all day. And I'm tired when I get to my son. And then when I taught first grade, oh my God, I had to change subject. I mean, I had to change grade levels. I'm like, I cannot work this hard. Like, I cannot. I'm drained. Like, that was literally the most work I've done in I don't know how long. I was like, I can't teach first grade. Like, I was responsible for doing everything, all subjects, planning all subjects. I was working from home. After work, staying with them kids till 4:30, sometimes waiting for parents to pick their kids up. I used to be like, listen, I did it for 2 months and I'm like, yo, I can't do first grade. I cannot.
See what we do to these teachers, y'all. Y'all be thinking like, oh, the teacher should do this. And the teacher's like, no, the teacher.
Y'all better leave these teachers alone. But at that time, yeah, I definitely was like, oh my God, like I'm not spending enough time with him. I shouldn't be spending, I'm focused so much more on these other people's kids. But now, no, sometimes I feel like I was spending way too much time with him looking back on stuff. Like, I didn't even trust other people to love my son.
Ooh.
And I was afraid to leave him with people who I knew have love for him, but their love didn't mirror my love.
Ooh,
so I'm like,
a good one.
No, my son.
I hope y'all other mommies snatch that nugget up, honey. Stop.
Okay.
It's people that love your kids. It's people that love.
It don't have to mirror how you love your kid. And your kid know that no love like their mother's love, but it's okay to let people love on your child. It's okay to let people into your child. Well, I'm talking family too. I'm not talking like, baby down the street. I'm talking about like his aunts, his uncles, his grandmother, his dad.
Nobody can love like you can.
That was the biggest why I used to be like, bruh, like, come on now. He's never, it was almost like a competition with me. And I'm like, no, he's not going to be okay if I go on this vacation. I didn't leave him alone overnight until he was like 2.5. I was like scary, and his daddy used to be like, I've been alone with him. I'm like, you go, and I'm like, no, what?
I don't know you. Sleep? Your mother raised you, and I'm still fixing.
How is he going to sleep? Right?
You know what? You question everybody's mother's skills, like when you become a mom, you're like,
my mama raised me, and I know she did a good job. I still be looking at her like, I don't like the way you just did that with my son.
Well, I'm so glad that you put that out there. Like, you have to realize that there are other people that love your kids. And especially when you're somebody who is going after your dream, who is in pursuit of other happiness, that you realize that there are other people that are here to assist you. There are other people there that are here to make your flow process easier. You just have to allow them in. So I'm all about the village, honey. I will get a village together and you owe you in a heartbeat. All right.
I had a village. I just ain't trust them like that for real at first. But I trust
them better at trusting them now. See, because I see you was on vacation. I'm like, I want to be there.
Oh, one thing I'm gonna do these days is take a vacation. You see my background? I'm in a vacation right now.
All right. So if you could offer another mom advice, a mom that's listening, that's struggling, like she wants to pursue her dreams, she's just struggling with finding balance. So she's struggling with like, I have to take care of these kids, but I also want to be me as an individual. What advice would you give to her?
Start slow. Don't feel like you got to do everything at once. Prioritize what you want to do and start there. And don't see like closed doors as no's, because there's always another route.
Amen. Ain't that the truth? Because if you've been listening to this podcast anytime, you already know, honey, I will reroute somebody in a heartbeat. And I just don't believe in settling. I believe if something is meant for you, you're going to find a way to do it. I'm just interruption, people. Y'all know this is a family show. This is real live. All right. So to the mom who feels like, so we're going to do one more advice. To the mom who feels like her child is suffering because of her ambition, what are we speaking into her?
Life. Listen, every day anew. Every day is a new day for you to get it right, for you to be better, for your child to get better, for your child to be better. And you can't guilt trip yourself through life. Don't hold grudges against yourself. Don't hold grudges against the people in your life, your child, your spouse, or your partner, or your child's other parent. always start every day anew, and just try not to dwell on the little things.
I think that's the best. Like, stop guilt tripping.
That's really it, because
That really is it.
you would drive yourself crazy guilt tripping yourself, like, and then you would hate, because if it ain't a guilt trip, it's a FOMO, the fear of missing out. Okay, you gonna see people over there getting money, living their life, going on trips. I used to see people, man, my friends would be out somewhere. I'd be like, dang, I did want to go. They on the rooftop, they're having fun. I'm over here. My son is asleep. He ain't even thinking about me.
He ain't no fun right now.
Right. Like,
and let's face it, you can't do ratchet stuff with your kids. Like
that, exactly. Or you see your friend, you like, dang, she done got that degree she said she was gonna get. I'm over here like, dang, I'm gonna wait till he 5. Oh no, I'm gonna wait till he's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm gonna wait till he go to school. No, like, the time is now. The time is now.
And I don't want moms to think it's a thing of jealousy. It's a thing of inspiration. Like, we're not saying be jealous that anybody is doing anything. It should inspire you to be the best version of you. Like, maybe your thing isn't to get a degree, but maybe you want to go to culinary art school. Like, be the best version of you can be, and don't allow anybody to shame you about it. And especially don't guilt trip yourself.
And it's okay if you wanted to be like, okay, I'm about to it's levels, right? Mm-hmm. So I might not be able to afford culinary art school right now, but what I can do is I can try such and such recipe. I can get this person's cookbook. I can get on Pinterest, try some stuff and freak some stuff out myself. I can start writing my own recipes and sharing them with my followers to see how they like them. It's always a stepping stone to something. You don't got to be straight to the first, the highest level. Take your time, pace yourself, write out what you got, what you want to do, prioritize things in your life, and make those moves.
Amen.
Make moves, not excuses.
Y'all, she didn't drop.
Yeah, I'm over here dropping one-liners, two-liners, quotes. You can quote me on that.
She ready to
hashtag that.
All right, so I want you to go ahead. Feel free to promote yourself. You are the doula, podcaster, mommy, teacher, crafter that we all need to know and love. So go ahead and drop your information.
All right, so you can follow me on Instagram, on my personal Instagram page, as told by Tina _. My crafting page, Crafted with a K by Tina, and my blog that will be released very soon, hopefully before the end of the year. Sippy Cups, the letter N, turn ups, all on Instagram, y'all. Or you can just come. Oh, let me plug the podcast too. This is NWP Podcast. It's on all platforms, including podcasts through the Apple app. And everything you can stream podcasts on.
So you guys, if you want to have a good time, and when I say whenever I watch her story, I feel like I'm in the story with her and her friends. We are having momcations. We are doing the most. Get into it, because let me tell y'all, we only get this one life to live. You only get one opportunity to be who God created you to be. And let's face it, who would want to be boring? So take the opportunity, amen, to figure it out, to figure out what your purpose is, to figure out what it is you want to do with your life. And you're not just a mom, you're more than that. So get into it, discover who you are, and be great at it.
And live your truth.
Amen. As always, hotties, you can follow me and the hottest kids on all my social media at Just One Hot Mom. You can go on over to the blog where we will be giving you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all things saucy from around the world and in your neighborhood at Nanika. That's NANEKIA.com. Guess what, hotties? You've been tuned in and you've been elevated. I'll talk to you soon.